Welcome back to AM Northwest. Our next guest is known for her in-depth and award-winning investigations of black markets and criminal networks. In her new project, The Hidden Third, Mariana van Zeller goes deeper to share the human stories behind the shadow systems powering nearly 1/3 of the global economy.
Most people don't know this, but there's an entire underground economy worth trillions of dollars. Economists even have a name for it, the hidden third, the estimated third of the global economy made up of black and gray markets. But who are the people working in the shadows? Wait, you were stealing 20, 30 cars a week and all of them just had keys inside the car? No way.
Definitely way. We went to a lot of different neighborhoods and all of them had the keys.
We welcome Emmy and Peabody Award-winning journalist Mariana van Zeller. Mariana, thanks for joining us. I'm curious, what inspired you to start this?
The podcast? Well, I've been reporting on black markets for almost 20 years. I have a show on National Geographic, and usually I do this sort of interview for television. And we, you know television well. We usually have to cut interviews to 5, 2, 3, 4 minutes. And in this, I have a platform where I can actually have intimate, sort of raw conversations with people who are involved in these black markets that are all around us. So it's a great platform to be able to do that.
How did you get these people, these criminals, to talk with you? I mean, obviously they're going to be a little skeptical at first, I can't imagine. Some might want the attention, others not so much. But how did you get them?
It's the hardest part of my job. You know, it takes months, sometimes even years to get access to these black markets, to these underworlds. I'd say that there are three main reasons why people agree to talk to us. I think it's ego, as you mentioned. People want to talk about themselves. Sometimes their own families don't know what they do. And we offer them a mask and a distorted face and a platform to be able to talk to us about what they're so passionate about, which is a little crazy. But I also think it's about impunity. In many countries where we film and people that we speak to, there's a lot of impunity. But the third most important reason I really think is just people want to be understood. It's a very human characteristic, right, to want to be understood. And we give people that platform. I tell everybody that I meet, I'm here not to judge you. I'm here to try to understand why you do what you do, because I think that's much more important.
How can our viewers, our families at home, how does this impact them? How does that the black economy, how does that impact them?
Well, you speak about immigration, we talk about guns, we can talk about drugs. I mean, these are all parts of businesses that are within the black markets. Most people don't know this, but economists estimate that around 35% of the global economy are black and gray markets. This is why the podcast is called The Hidden Third. It's what economists actually call the hidden third. And so all these black markets have a huge impact on our lives, and yet we know so very little about them, and even less about the people that operate in them. So that's why I created this platform.
What has surprised you the most so far? Because you've done so much. You've interviewed so many people, these kind of really the people who are in the shadows. Has anything surprised you?
I think it surprised me that I am able to find humanity even in the people that we consider the bad guys, right? That I am able to sit across somebody who traffics cocaine or smuggles guns or is a scammer. And throughout my life, I've met so many of these people, and to be able to find humanity by understanding why they ended up where they are, to me was a surprise at the beginning of my career. And the more people I meet, I realize that it's the lack of opportunities that they're given in life that leads them to a life of crime. I truly believe that no one is born wanting to be a criminal. There are a lot of people that have other options out there that decide to be criminals, but that is not the case for the vast majority of people I meet. So that's been surprising. And quite frankly, it's given me a very hopeful outlook on humanity, because I think that people are redeemable. And if we just provide jobs and opportunities, that we are able to sort of crush these black markets.
I've watched your segments many times over the years, and you've been on the show many times. And honestly, I worry about your safety. Do you ever worry about your safety? Does your family ever worry about your safety?
I'm married to a journalist, so he knows, he's like me, where he understands how important it is to get the access to these worlds. He's very much driven by the same passion as I am. But, there's a lot of work that's put before we even hit the ground, right? planning, security meetings, planning, training. There's a lot that people don't see that we do to be able to minimize the risk. I always say that there's no story that's worth a life. But, the unpredictable happens. And we've had many situations where no matter how much we plan, much like Mike Tyson says, plans are great until you get punched in the face. So there have been situations where we've planned and planned, and then unpredictable things happen. Like we got stuck in a coup in Niger in Africa for many days, and that was really scary. So we've had many scary situations throughout my life as a journalist.
I've never heard you quote Mike Tyson. That's a new one. That is a new one for me. Okay, let me ask you this. One of the interviews you had, I find that fascinating that he was saying that they steal all their cars because the keys are in them. Who leaves their keys in their car?
Right. This was a guy who, according to his story, and he actually did time in prison, he and his gang of car stealers were stealing about 50 to 75 cars a week or something, a crazy number. I could not believe it. And he says that every single car he stole, it was because people left their keys in their car. And I asked him, who does that? He says, in rich neighborhoods, the better the car, the better the neighborhood, the richer the people are, the more keys you will find inside these cars, which I had no idea. I've never left a key in my car in my entire life.
No, never. I want to talk about the survivors. And do you talk to the survivors, and what have you learned from them?
Victims, absolutely. I mean, they are the heart of every story I do, even though I spend a lot of time with the perpetrators, right, and the operators of these black markets. We can only understand the impact that these crimes have once we spend time with the victims. And I mean, it's heartbreaking stories, and it's, I'm a very emotional person. It's hard to come back home and understand just how privileged I am. And that sort of drives me to know that this is what I've chosen my life to be, and to be able to go out there and tell these stories and share the stories of victims, and many times of people that are less fortunate than we are.
Tell me about your next upcoming episode. What can we expect?
We have a podcast episode coming out this week, actually tomorrow, which is with a Russian sex spy. And it is one of the most fascinating conversations I've had, where she was taught by the Russian government the art of seduction, and enabled to be able to infiltrate sort of the enemies of the government, of the state. And it's really a fascinating story.
I can't wait. And we want to tell everyone new episodes of The Hidden Third air each Wednesday on YouTube and all the major podcast platforms. Mariana, thank you so much, and stay safe, okay?
Thank you for having me, Helen.
You bet. All right, we'll be right back with more AM Northwest. Don't go away.